This is Dr. Gigi Sabbat, and you're listening into the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Bianca. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's such an honor to have
And
you here today.
thank you. I just wanted to add, I also go by the Literary Lioness.
I love it. Can you tell us a little bit more about you and where are you from?
Well, I'm first generation American, so Jamaican parents, but I grew up in New York. So I've been in Florida a while, but once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker.
Very good. And you're in
And
my local area, Palm Coast.
correct. And as you know, I run an open mic at Barnhill's Cafe in Flagler Beach because I'm all about being surrounded by creatives and uplifting people. So, but I started writing as a child. And when I was in Brooklyn, I used to finish my homework before everybody, my classwork. So they had these things, this is probably way before your time, but they were called SRAs. And you had to read them and answer questions and make up stories. And that's what I used to do. So I spent a lot of the school day writing stories.
Amazing.
And
And
I've
I
been
had
writing
the
ever
honor,
since.
yes, and I had the honor to speak at your open mic event, which I had a blast, by the way. Amazing open mic
Okay.
event that you put together. So thanks.
You're welcome. And I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to, sorry, other writers. And a lot of people don't realize they have a story to tell. So part of the writing process also is growing up. They used to make us go to the senior homes and sing Christmas carols, every year in elementary school. And you just see old people. As a kid, you just think they're old. They were born old, like they never had a life. When you speak to them, I spoke to one lady and turned out that she was a professional figure skater.
Incredible.
And yeah, I was so impressed by that because all I saw, she was in a wheelchair, like she was this, broken down body, older, very old person. I think she was in her 90s. And that's when I realized that, yeah, everybody's got a story. And I
That's
don't even
right.
think she thought it was a big deal, but I was impressed.
That's right. Everyone does have a story.
Yes. And they may not realize it, no matter how small. And sometimes our trauma, when you share the stories, you can help other people. You don't realize it, but there'll be somebody out there that can relate to it that maybe never spoke to somebody. And when I did my first open mic for somebody else's open mic event, I read something called Innocence Lost, and it was about sexual assault. I was a child. It was a family friend or something.
You were sexually
But I went
assaulted?
out there, yes, as a child, and I read this story, this poem that I wrote. I wrote it for a friend's book. So I'm like 40 something years old when I wrote this, and the assault happened. I was in elementary school. And I wrote this poem called Innocence Lost. And I read it first time at the open mics. I was nervous. I said, I'm going to read the hardest thing because if I can survive this, I can read anything after this. I was shaking everything. After I read it, so many women came up and thanked me for saying and expressing what they couldn't. And like me, didn't tell, my parents didn't find out until I read the poem to them at 40. So this is like decades later. And so many women don't tell, or maybe they told someone and they weren't believed, but they all came up to me and thanked me. And that opened conversation. And that allows people to talk. You can express your trauma or you can write and release your trauma. So that's when I realized the power of my words. And I still write about some of those things. And then, life has gotten better. There's happier times. So I write about that too.
I love it. And as a sexual, so I love the fact that you write and that you continue to speak, not what happened to you. But as a sexual assault survivor, as I was saying, my heart goes out to you. My question to you is,
Thanks.
what message do you have for an individual who has been through something such as sexual assault?
It's hard. You should tell somebody. If your parents or whoever you go to first don't believe you, try somebody else. And for those of us who grew up with it and never told, I believe writing helps you. Right? I mean, you can write to the person that abused you, right? The most horrible things you can think of, whatever it takes to get it out your body and burn it. Because some way it has to come out of you. Because if not, like I didn't even realize how I was affected until I think it was just this year. Every now and then I look this man up. I don't know why. Maybe it's a sickness. I don't know what it was. And I was watching videos of him. And I'm trying to figure out why these videos are out there about him. And I realized that he passed away. And all of a sudden I felt lighter. Then I was doing these open mics and stuff and feeling more open. And I guess I was always worried about running into this person, even though they couldn't harm me at this point in my life. But just by doing that and writing about it and helping other girls, I feel like I also helped myself because I never went to counseling. I basically counseled myself with writing, with talking. And for me, that worked. But I'll tell anyone, no matter what you've been through, you can get through it. You can survive. Life will go on. You might always carry a little piece of that with you, but you can't let it stop you. And the best way to get back at someone is to succeed and to thrive. And that's what I'm trying to do.
That's right. There is hope, and you're a walking, talking testimony. So thank you so much for sharing
Yes.
your story.
You're
Now,
welcome.
yes, yes. Tell us a little bit more about poetry in your poetry book.
Well, I only had one out. I'm working on the second one right now. I actually have enough for probably three or four. And the first one that's out was My Inner Voice. You probably have to go to my Facebook page and request it because I'm not working with that publisher anymore. And the second one I'm working on now is called Journey to Queendom. It was going to be Journey to Healing, but I decided I'm beyond healing at this point. It's my Journey to Queendom. And it has some of the things about being assaulted because, once it happens to you one time, other people
Right.
try you. So that wasn't my only experience, but I grew through it. I'm dropping all the hurts. I opened up and took a chance on some guys, being open because I've always been like jumpy and keep a distance and, that kind of thing. I ended up getting married in my 50s because I didn't want to do that before. So by opening up, I feel like I gave myself a chance. And by writing, I gave my chance to move forward. And I write about that. I write about the healing. I write about the dating. I write about kissing frogs so you found a prince.
Yes, I recall that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also just things that happen in everyday life because life itself can be very funny. I have things that are somewhat erotic, but not in your face erotic. I'm not one of those real raunchy or real graphic. My things make you think. So I even wrote something that's completely away from sexual things. Was My mom had written a lizard story, and when I thought about it, I said I have a lizard story. So in my story, I did some laundry or something like we all do, and I was taking care of my son, and I saw a lizard, and I like screeched and jumped over a basket and ran in the house, and my son's laughing at me. So I put in the story how sometimes you want to drop kick your kid, but you can't do it. That's why they're so cute. And then I went on to write how I opened up the dryer, and in the crotch of my underpants was the lizard and missing some of his claws, his talons. So of course I didn't want to wear the underwear again. I washed it several times. I threw it out. Then I always have a warped way of thinking, and it's a little bit sexual, so forgive me. But then at the end, I thought, wow, that would give a horrific new meaning to fingering. And then I started laughing. So that's kind of one of the stories I read. It's everyday life. We all do laundry. We've all come across bugs and stuff we're scared of. I've written about relationships with my family. Just like I said, everyday life. Mostly women relate to me, but I write stuff that men can relate to. I did one on aging, joking about how every time I get up, it sounds like some kind of hip hop beat. So now I got my own soundtrack. Because as
Yes,
you get older, bones start cracking. So just real things. And I find the humor in a lot of things because no matter how bad something is, could be the West Indian in me. No matter how bad something is, there's always a little bit of humor in there somewhere. And
amazing.
I try to find it.
Very powerful. Thanks so much for sharing, Bianca. Now, what is your
You're
best
welcome.
advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Wow, that's a tough one. Well, you have to wake up and set your intention for the day because if not, time will fly by. You keep saying tomorrow, tomorrow. Next thing you know, years have gone by.
It's
So you
true.
got to set your intention for the day. Life is ups and downs. I don't care how great your life is, you're going to have downs. So when you're on the up, you got to ride it out, enjoy it, enjoy every second of it, and store all that joy and all that strength for the hard times.
I love it.
And just trust in yourself, believe in yourself. As long as you keep trying, they used to tell me that, like I used to say, I don't have money to do something. And my mother would tell me, start doing it anyway. When you start doing whatever you're supposed to do, the money will appear, the help will appear, whatever you need will come, but you got to start. So that's one of the things I tell people too with walking with purpose. Just start and don't give up and push forward.
That's right.
And it comes back to believing in yourself, which is hard to do. We all got that little voice in our head telling us we're not good enough. You got to ignore it and keep going.
Yes, God always provides, and it's important to
That's
take
true.
action as well and do your part as well. Now, do you have any last words for the audience?
Yeah, for those of you going through hard times, like I say, sometimes writing will cure you. You don't have to be a good writer. You can write it out and then look back at it with a rational mind and make a better decision. And surround yourself with the right people, like-minded people who are uplifting, who are trying to do things with their lives because you'll pick up from that. They'll help you and it'll inspire you. So just try to keep a good circle around yourself and, like I said, stand strong and keep moving forward no matter what.
I love it. Thank you so much, Bianca. God bless.
Thank you. God bless.